Have you ever wondered why your legs feel weaker as the years go by? You eat your fruits. You stay active. You avoid junk food. You even go for a morning walk when the sun rises. You've done your part. And yet your legs feel heavy. Your knees don't bend as easily. You walk into the grocery store and find yourself pausing after 3 aisles just to catch your breath. And you ask yourself, am I just getting old? Or is something else going on? If this sounds like you, let me reassure you, you are not alone. And more importantly, you're not imagining it. That silent decline in your leg strength, that creeping stiffness after a meal, that swelling in your ankles you never had before, these aren't random. They might be connected to something so innocent, so praised, that we never stop to question it. Fruit. Yes, fruit. Because even though we've been taught our whole lives that fruit is healthy, natural, and safe, the truth is not all fruits are beneficial for people over 60. In fact, some of the fruits you might eat every day, believing they're good for you, could be silently damaging your legs, weakening your muscles, inflaming your joints, and making circulation harder. You might be thinking, but how fruit is supposed to be natural. And yes, it is, huh? But natural doesn't always mean harmless, especially as we age. The older body processes sugar differently. It absorbs acid differently. It reacts to inflammation more severely. And because your legs are the furthest point from your heart, they're the first to suffer when circulation slows down, when vessels shrink, or when inflammation takes root. This isn't about fear. This is about awareness. Because once you understand which fruits are helping you and which are quietly stealing your strength, you can make better choices. And better choices lead to stronger steps, more freedom, and more confidence with every move you make. So if you felt this change in your body, if your legs feel weaker than they used to, or if you've noticed new stiffness, soreness, or swelling, write 1 in the comments so we know this message is reaching the right people. Write 0 if you haven't felt it and want to keep it that way. Because today, we're revealing something that very few people talk about: the 7 worst fruits for leg strength after 60, and the 5 fruits that can help restore it. And if you're new here and want more honest science-backed tips just for seniors, where we talk about strength, balance, mobility, and how to keep your independence, then take a second and subscribe to Senior Fit, because growing older doesn't mean giving up. It means growing wiser and still moving forward. Now, let's begin with the first fruit on the list, the one that wears a golden crown, tastes like summer, and hides a storm of sugar and acid under its sweet disguise. Let's talk about pineapple. At first glance, pineapple looks like one of the healthiest fruits around. It's tropical, juicy, loaded with vitamin C, and praised for its powerful enzyme bromelain, which many people believe helps with digestion and inflammation. And for younger folks, that may be true. But for seniors, pineapple can become a quiet threat, especially if you're eating it frequently. Why? Because as we age, our bodies become more sensitive to natural sugars, more sensitive to acids, and more prone to chronic inflammation. Pineapple contains high amounts of both sugar and citric acid, and while a slice may seem harmless, the effects over time can quietly wear down your legs from the inside out. Let's break this down. First, the natural sugar in pineapple is mostly fructose, which your aging liver has a harder time processing. When you eat pineapple, you're sending a burst of sugar into your system. That causes a spike in blood sugar levels, especially if eaten alone or on an empty stomach. Over time, these spikes damage the tiny capillaries that feed your lower limbs, the vessels that keep your calves strong, your knees flexible, and your feet stable. And it's not just the sugar. The acid in pineapple creates a perfect storm, especially in people who already suffer from arthritis, poor circulation, or joint stiffness. Acidic compounds irritate the lining of joints, weaken cartilage, and can worsen swelling in the knees and ankles. You might think, but I only eat a few chunks in my salad. Yet, those chunks add up. And for many older adults, pineapple becomes a daily treat, part of their fruit bowl juice or dessert. Over time, those repeated exposures create low-grade persistent inflammation, especially in the legs. You may start feeling tightness in your calves when standing up, puffiness in your ankles after walking, a dull nagging ache in your knees that wasn't there before. And if you take blood thinners or anti-inflammatory medications, there's another layer. Bromelain, that same enzyme praised for digestion, can interact with medications, increasing the risk of bruising and worsening inflammation instead of reducing it. That's why so many seniors are surprised to learn this. They think they're eating healthy, but what they're really doing is feeding the fire inside their joints, one sweet slice at a time. So the next time you see a bowl of pineapple, pause. Ask yourself, is this fruit still working for me, or is it quietly working against me? And that brings us to fruit number 2. One of the most trusted staples in American kitchens. Soft, yellow, easy to digest, often recommended for cramps and muscles. Let's talk about bananas. We've all heard it. Bananas are good for your muscles. They're packed with potassium. Eat one a day. And to be fair, potassium is important. It helps with muscle contractions, nerve function, and preventing cramps. But here's the part no one talks about. As we age, the way our body handles sugar and starch changes dramatically. And bananas, especially ripe ones, are loaded with both, making them a fast-acting carb bomb that might do more harm than good for your legs. When you eat a banana, your body breaks down those natural sugars into glucose almost instantly. That glucose floods your bloodstream, causing a quick spike in insulin. For someone young and active, this isn't a problem. But for older adults, it's the perfect recipe for insulin resistance, weight gain around the legs and abdomen, slower circulation to the extremities, muscle fatigue, and poor recovery after exertion. Have you ever felt your legs feel heavier after a meal, or experienced strange soreness in your calves, even after light activity? Or maybe a tension in your thighs or a wobble when climbing stairs? You might not associate that with bananas, but you should. Bananas might be soft and friendly, but they can also be stealthy saboteurs, slowly contributing to weaker legs without making a sound. And it gets worse for seniors who deal with fluid retention. Bananas, despite their reputation for preventing cramps, can increase water buildup in the body, especially in people with heart issues or those on certain medications. That water settles in the feet, the ankles, and the lower legs, and the result: swelling, painful walking, difficulty with balance, fatigue. You're not just tired, you're overloaded. And that burst of energy people talk about after eating a banana, it's not real energy. It's a sugar spike, followed by a crash. And your legs are the first to feel it. So if bananas are a daily habit for you, even just one a day, it may be time to ask yourself, is this habit still serving my strength? Let's keep going. The next fruit on our list is small, sweet, and loved by nearly everyone, often praised for being good for the heart. But it's quietly breaking down the joints in your feet and the strength in your knees. Let's talk about grapes. They're cute. They're easy to snack on. They're often labeled heart healthy, and they're always waiting in the fridge, sweet, cool, and bite-sized. But grapes might be doing more harm to your lower body than you realize. The danger doesn't come from what you see. It comes from what grapes do inside your body, particularly due to their high fructose content. Fructose, unlike glucose, isn't used directly for energy. Instead, it's processed in the liver, where it can quickly be converted into fat or uric acid. And if you're over 60, especially if you've ever had joint pain, gout, or arthritis, that uric acid is a problem. Why? Because it settles in your joints, particularly the joints of your feet, ankles, knees, and toes. And when it builds up, it causes painful gout flare-ups, often at night. You might feel a sudden burning in your big toe, a sharp sting in your ankle as you get up from bed, throbbing in your knees that appears for no reason, all from something as innocent as a handful of grapes. But it's not just gout. Even if you don't have a diagnosis, the fructose in grapes fuels systemic inflammation in the body, and for aging joints, that's like pouring gasoline on a fire. Your legs might start to feel tighter, slower, heavier, less responsive when walking or standing. And because grapes are so small and sweet, it's easy to overeat them. You might think I only had a few with breakfast. But a few with breakfast, a few more while watching TV, some more with dinner. And suddenly, your body is flooded with fructose. The effects won't show immediately, but over time, your legs will start to tell the truth. Swollen knees, aching calves, a stiff, uneasy walk. So if grapes have become your go-to snack, especially in the evenings, it may be time to rethink that habit. Because, while grapes might be good for the heart, they're not always kind to your legs. Now, let's move on to the next fruit. This one's nostalgic. Sweet, refreshing. Reminds many people of summer days and childhood picnics. But for older adults, it's a glycemic time bomb wrapped in juicy red. Let's talk about watermelon. Watermelon. Just saying the word brings a sense of joy. You think of hot afternoons, paper plates, sticky fingers, and slices so juicy they drip down your chin. For many seniors, watermelon is the ultimate feel-good fruit. It's light, it's hydrating, it's soft for aging teeth. What could possibly be wrong with it? Here's the truth. Watermelon is one of the highest glycemic fruits you can eat. That means it causes your blood sugar to spike rapidly after eating. And for seniors, especially those with prediabetes, diabetes, or circulation issues, that sudden spike is dangerous. Not just for your sugar levels, but for your entire lower body. Why? Because rapid spikes in blood sugar lead to oxidative stress in the blood, inflammation in blood vessels, nerve irritation in the legs and feet. You might feel a weird tiredness in your legs after a meal, tightness in your calves after a short walk, or even a deep soreness in your thighs you can't quite explain. And there's more. Your body, in response to excess sugar, may retain water, causing that liquid to settle in soft tissues, especially the feet, ankles, and knees. You may notice puffiness in the feet, trouble fitting into your shoes, or an aching sensation when climbing stairs. It's not just watermelon. It's how your aging metabolism processes sugar, even from fruits that feel light. Because while watermelon might taste refreshing, it behaves like candy in your body. For someone in their 30s, no problem. But after 60, that slow metabolism and insulin sensitivity make all the difference. So yes, a few cubes of watermelon won't ruin your health. But if it's become a daily indulgence, your legs might already be telling you the cost. And we're not done yet. Coming up next, a fruit that almost every American household starts their day with. Bright, tangy, full of vitamin C, and often juiced, but for your joints and nerves. It may be doing far more harm than good. You know the image well. A bright morning, a kitchen window full of soft sunlight, a clean breakfast table, and right there beside your eggs or oatmeal, a tall, beautiful glass of orange juice. It feels like a healthy habit. It feels right. After all, oranges are packed with vitamin C. They're good for immunity. Doctors have been recommending them for generations. But here's what most seniors don't realize. That daily glass of orange juice, or even just eating oranges regularly, might be slowly damaging your joints and reducing your leg mobility. Why? Because oranges are high in citric acid. And while that acid can be helpful in small doses for older adults, especially those with arthritis, bursitis, or joint sensitivity, it can act like sandpaper on already fragile cartilage. You may not feel it right away, but over time, that morning ritual becomes a daily irritation to your knees, hips, and ankles. You might start to notice morning stiffness in your knees that takes longer to go away, a dull ache in your hips that follows you throughout the day, or that your legs feel strangely locked up after sitting for a while. And if you're drinking orange juice, the problem is even worse, because juice removes the fiber, leaving behind concentrated sugar and acid. That's a combination that spikes blood sugar, irritates joints, triggers inflammation, and accelerates stiffness in your lower body. In fact, regular orange juice consumption in older adults has been linked to systemic inflammation, not just in joints, but also in muscles, blood vessels, and connective tissue in the legs. You might feel less flexible, more prone to swelling, or even notice your balance shifting. That's not just age. That's an environment in your body that favors inflammation. So, if you're starting every day with an orange or a glass of juice, it might be time to listen to your legs, because they're speaking. And they may be saying, I need something gentler. Ready for the next one? This next fruit has a reputation for being clean light and less sugary. Its crunch is refreshing. Its tartness feels detoxifying. But behind that shiny green skin lies a hidden inflammatory punch that your aging legs may no longer tolerate. Let's talk about green apples. They look like the perfect fruit. Crisp, clean, tart. They fit neatly into the idea of healthy eating, especially for those watching sugar. But green apples, despite their lower sugar content compared to other varieties, contain two things that can spell trouble for older adults: malic acid and natural sugars that still spike blood sugar in sensitive bodies. Let's talk about the malic acid first. This natural compound gives green apples their sharp flavor, and while it's often praised for energy support, in larger or repeated doses, it can trigger inflammation in people with arthritis or fibromyalgia. And when that inflammation sets in, it doesn't stay in your stomach or mouth. It often spreads to your hips, your thighs, your knees, your lower legs. You might feel a burning or aching sensation that seems to come from within the muscles themselves, deeper than skin or joints. Now let's talk about the sugar. Even though green apples have less sugar than other fruits, it's still enough to cause fluctuations in blood glucose, especially in seniors with slower metabolism and lower insulin sensitivity. Those sugar swings affect circulation, and poor circulation leads to less oxygen to your muscles, slower recovery after activity, fatigue in your legs after walking or climbing stairs. Here's what many seniors don't realize. Green apples are often eaten raw on an empty stomach or between meals, which means the sugar enters your bloodstream even faster. And over time, your legs begin to whisper it back to you. Cramps, at night, stiffness in the morning, weakness after short walks. If you eat a green apple each day, thinking it's helping, pay attention to what your body says an hour later. Because pain is rarely random, it's often a message. And sometimes it's saying, this is no longer working for me. And now we come to the final fruit on our list. It's smooth. It's golden. It smells like sunshine and childhood memories. It's one of the most indulgent fruits, and also one of the most dangerous for your joints. Let's talk about mangoes. It's hard to resist a ripe mango. Soft, fragrant, and dripping with sweetness, it feels like a reward, a tropical escape, a moment of joy. For many older adults, a few slices of mango feel like a guilt-free dessert. But here's what's hidden beneath that golden flesh: a massive sugar load and an ability to trigger inflammation, nerve irritation, and leg weakness faster than almost any other fruit. Did you know a single mango can contain more than 45 grams of sugar? That's more than a can of soda. And unlike sodas, mangoes feel healthy, which makes it easier to eat in large amounts, especially in smoothies, fruit bowls, or desserts. But your body doesn't care about the fruit's image. It only knows what happens when that sugar hits your bloodstream. Here's what happens. Insulin spikes, inflammatory markers rise, fluid retention increases, nerve endings in your feet and legs become more irritated. If you've ever felt burning or tingling in your feet at night, swelling in your ankles after a meal, or leg fatigue that seems to come out of nowhere, it might be the mango. Or more specifically, the sugar in the mango, and how it reacts with your aging body. This is especially true for people with prediabetes or diabetes, peripheral neuropathy, or those already struggling with circulation problems. And the worst part, because mango tastes soft, cool, and harmless, it's easy to eat in excess. You don't realize the damage until your body starts slowing down, until the stairs feel steeper, until walking across the room feels like a chore, until your independence feels like it's slipping away. But now you know. You've seen what these 7 fruits, pineapple, banana, grapes, watermelon, orange, green apple, and mango can do to a body that's no longer 25. And now it's time to ask, what should you eat instead? Now that you've seen the damage certain fruits can cause silently, slowly, over time, let's shift to what's possible. Because this journey isn't about fear. It's about awareness and action. You don't need to cut out fruit completely. You just need to choose fruits that heal, not harm. Fruits that nourish without spiking your blood sugar. That soothe, not swell. That support circulation, calm inflammation, and give your legs a chance to feel strong again. So here are 5 of the best fruits chosen specifically for seniors to help protect your mobility, rebuild your muscle function, and keep you moving forward with grace and power. 1. Berries. The gentle warriors of circulation and strength. Blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, even strawberries in moderation. These aren't just delicious, they're anti-inflammatory powerhouses. Why they work? Low in sugar, so they don't spike insulin. High in antioxidants, like anthocyanins, that protect cells and reduce joint damage. Support blood flow, especially in the tiny vessels that feed your legs and feet. If you've been dealing with swollen knees, fatigued thighs, or lingering soreness in your calves, berries can help reduce that silent inflammation that's making everything harder. And the best part, they're gentle. You don't need a lot. Just a small handful daily can make a difference. They work slowly, silently, and powerfully, just like inflammation, but in reverse. 2. Cherries. The uric acid regulators. If you've ever suffered from gout arthritis or nighttime joint pain, you need to know about cherries. Because these little fruits have a unique compound that helps lower uric acid levels, reducing the risk of painful flare-ups in your feet, knees, and ankles. Even tart cherry juice, in small amounts, has been shown to lessen stiffness, reduce swelling, shorten recovery time after walking or exercise. Just don't go overboard. Stick to small servings and always opt for no added sugar. Cherries are like peacekeepers for your joints. A few at night, and you may wake up feeling lighter, more mobile, and more yourself. 3. Avocado, the non-sweet fruit that strengthens without spiking. Yes, it's technically a fruit. And no, it's not sweet. But avocado may be one of the most important fruits you can add to your diet after 60. Why? Because it's packed with healthy fats that cushion joints and reduce internal swelling, magnesium and potassium that support muscle strength, fiber that stabilizes blood sugar. Unlike sugary fruits that send your system into overdrive, avocados stabilize you. They help regulate insulin, provide slow, sustained energy, and don't tax your nerves, vessels, or digestion. If you've ever felt a crash after fruit, avocado is your balance. Spread it on toast, toss it in a salad, or blend it into a smoothie. It doesn't spike, it supports. 4. Papaya, the soothing digestive ally. Papaya often gets overlooked. But for aging adults, it might just be one of the most calming, supportive fruits you can choose. Why? Because it's low in acid, soft and easy to digest, full of enzymes like pepin that help reduce inflammation and ease joint pain. It's gentle on the stomach, gentle on the knees, gentle on the nerves. If fruits like apples or citrus leave you feeling stiff, bloated, or sore, try papaya. It's a fruit that feels like a warm bath from the inside, and its vitamin C content still strong, just delivered in a way that your body can handle. 5. Pears, the balanced sweetness your body understands. Pears are sweet, but in a way your body can manage, especially when you eat them with a source of protein or healthy fat, like almonds, cottage cheese, or a handful of walnuts. Pears contain soluble fiber that slows sugar absorption, a low glycemic load, and antioxidants that calm inflammation. They're a great alternative to apples, less acidic, less likely to trigger joint flares, and better tolerated by sensitive digestion. A ripe pear eaten slowly with a little protein is a gentle way to enjoy sweetness without punishment. And that's the key. After 60, food shouldn't hurt. It should help. Now that you know the truth that not all fruits are created equal, that some choices we believed were healthy may have silently been holding us back, that your legs don't just need movement, they need the right nourishment. What will you choose? This isn't about guilt. It's about clarity. Because once you see clearly, you can choose differently. And when you choose differently, you change everything. If walking has become harder, if pain has become your background noise, if stairs now feel steeper and chairs more comfortable than they should, then maybe, just maybe, this is the moment to gently let go of what no longer serves you. You don't need to give up all fruit, but you do need to choose fruits that work with your body, not against it. Pay attention to how you feel after you eat, not just in your taste buds, but in your legs, your feet, your breath. If something leaves you stiff, bloated, or swollen an hour later, listen. That's not age talking. That's your body asking for something better. And the good news is you have better within reach. You have berries, cherries, avocados, papayas, and pears. You have options. And more than that, you have power. Power to walk without pain. Power to rise from a chair without hesitation. Power to walk into the future, not slowly, not hunched, but steady and strong. Because life after 60 isn't about shrinking. It's about standing taller, moving better, choosing wiser, and it begins, truly, with just one simple change: the fruit on your plate. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to comment below. Write 1 if this video helped you feel more in control of your choices. Write 0 if you're still unsure and want more support. And please share this with someone you care about. Someone whose legs matter, whose independence matters, whose life still has strength left to live. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Senior Fit, because your journey isn't ending. It's just beginning, with more clarity, more confidence, and more strength than ever before. You deserve to walk freely. You deserve to live longer. But most of all, you deserve to live stronger. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video, where your next step toward a healthier, more powerful life begins.